bricks on the screen, healthcare in between. Physics, art, math got us down this path. Historical tales come alive, where science and stories dive. Blended facts with heart, knowledge from the start. Need bridge blues we sing to the future memory. Health and science in the mix. Need got the fix. Complex subjects made
right
clear.
now
Every episode
in ways that we actually acquire
leads the way.
and ways that make me more efficient.
In the world of digital streams, turning knowledge into dreams. Through the tales of old, new stories unfold.
Thank you so much for joining with me. It is truly an honor and a privilege.
MedBix Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming.
Hey, welcome to the MedBix Webcast. This is Raman Annamaraju. I'm the host. The reason I started this channel is to, I live in Silicon Valley. There's a broadcasting live from Silicon Valley. The thing is that the physicians, you have to learn it's easier for physicians to get exposed to mathematics and physics, a little bit of chemistry and arts. Rather, other way around, IT technology people getting understanding the medicine. That's going to be a difficult one. So that's a big gap in that sense. Otherwise, Silicon Valley is going to eat the medical people for breakfast. I'm telling you, serious. So we have to, the medical professionals raise up and learn a little bit, not just the medicine. You need to learn exposure to the mathematics and physics and chemistry, and a little bit of chemistry you already know probably, but all those things, a little bit exposure to you don't have to be expert in it to get exposure where you can use it. That's a fair understanding of it is very critical nowadays for innovation. If you want to be innovator, that is a critical. If you are not an innovator and a physician and innovator, it's a very difficult to survive in the future. I tell you that. So my program is trying to help that process for you guys. Okay, thank you for joining. I have a lot of people watching it. That's I'm greatly honored to have all of you. So this is because I spend in both sides of the coin. I understand technology. I understand medicine, not like doctors, but I spend a lot of time in the medicine, my healthcare field. So this is very important to know. So let me tell you the story about this. There is a German doctor, actually, historian. They went to the Everest, in 1970s or 80s, I think 60s. He's a German doctor. He climbed to Everest, and the Everest is the highest peak in the Himalayan mountains. Then while he's coming back, he got hypoxia, means he cannot such oxygen starvation, and he died after climbing all the way. This high altitude. There's a lot of people. My nephew went to base camp. He said that there's a lot of people get sick even at the base camp itself. It is not easy. This is a high altitude medicine. You saw the movie or not? Into Thin Air. Oh my God, they got to watch that. If you have not seen that movie on the documentary, it's IMAX theater that did that. During the time, there was a group of people went to Everest. Almost half of the people died. This is Dr. Weathers. His name is Jeff Weathers from Dallas, Texas. People thought he died. Almost every part of his body became blue. So he survived. That he wrote this is a fantastic story. You got to watch that movie, spellbinding movie, how they survived while you're coming down, how the friends helped each other. It is just truly a remarkable story. The last call, he was the coach, the guide that who took them. He was his last call recorded to his wife. I'm going to die, and that is it. I'm done. So you have to. This is a documentary called Into Thin Air. So see that. So hypoxia is the key. This is the problem with hypoxia, oxygen starvation. It is not easy during, it is one of the complicated field. Nowadays people go to mountaineering, they do a lot of climbing mountains, like Kilimanjaro, it may not be Everest, but all of those requires, your health. One thing is hypoxia is a key. I have a doctor who is really expert in this area. He's a Russian doctor who is a sportsman. He's a really world champion in the field and track. Dr. Val. I don't want to say his last name; it's too big. He's a Russian doctor. He's joining from Eugene, Oregon, and he's an inventor. He's a inventor, and he's a physician, and he's MD, PhD. He has all of those qualifications. Let me bring him to the table and ask him his background a little bit. Dr. Val, welcome to the MedBix webcast.
Yeah, thank you for invitation. This for your nice podcast with very nice people, and to explore world how different approaches help people and to stay healthy and longer as much to quality life. And about myself,
Can you give me your background a little bit for people that they know a little bit about you?
I'm medical doctor, internal medicine and functional diagnostics and sports medicine and cardiology. At the same time, when I've been in medical school, almost 18 years old, I like track and field, particularly middle distance, involved in sports. And at the same time, in my hometown in Irkutsk from Siberia, we had this.
You're from Siberia. That's what he said? Okay.
Yes, Siberia. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, good.
Yeah, and particular track and field for Siberia, not acceptable for most of all people. How possible to run cold and everything? But anyway, if you have goal and specific how possible to achieve this goal, you can combine your knowledge, because I've been in medical school in knowledge to give me knowledge about everything physiologically, biochemistry, and plus space technology, which came from space technology from Soviet Union to prepare astronauts, include Yuri Gagarin in 1961. And this is technology came for public end of 70s. In my hometown, we're starting to use this technology, and it helps huge for me. It's called heart rate and heart rate variability. And right now, I'm over 45 years.
Let me give you a little bit background on Yuri Gagarin. Yuri Gagarin is the first space astronaut. He went to the space. He is the first human being into the space. He made a one round full circle around the Earth, and then he spent 2 hours or so in the space. Right? Everybody knows his name. Is encrypted in the a lot of people who were space enthusiasts like me. I loved space. I studied physics. So Yuri Gagarin is oh my God, he's like a god for us at that time. Okay, go ahead. So you took some idea from the Yuri Gagarin.
Yes, and for me, just this is space technology, just very impressed me. And if Yuri Gagarin flew to space, and for me, in the first step, it was to explore how I will flew in the sports. It's even 18 years old, no level physically condition and everything, but in 6 years. So I've been in even you're in 4 years I've been in national team and competing in a high stage international level over 20 years without injury. And what happened? This is technology helps me first of all, and plus knowledge from medical background helps me. And third, because I'm not able to travel with my teammates to high altitude training, I decided in Siberia to bring my mountains inside me and to train itself, just to resistant to hypoxia. And right now, just I just with this approach, hypoxia.
Let me ask you a quick question. Hypoxia is when when you go to the mountains. When you train also, when you run or something, you can have the same condition, right? Hypoxia can happen on the ground when you're running or something like that. Is that right?
Yes, it helps huge to improve your physical condition. Include something blood circulation and activate many energy resources like capillary system and everything. This is like positively, but if you smart to step by step, like not to overtrain itself like for this extreme condition, and definitely you have to specific knowledge to manage itself almost daily, how you and adjust it. This is training program, or just like even doesn't matter even uh, who you are, even like or like a regular person or tourist or fitness level, just like need to be step by step. Don't rush, and it takes time because this is adaptation like long time adaptation process to um, adjust it for your body for a new level, like steps. You going like and for like from first floor to 10th floor, and like each step you have to not rush like immediately 10th floor. Just like every step, like each floor you have to explore itself, and after it like move very slowly, but later you made foundational. It helps for you to build whatever you would like in your life.
So, let me ask you, what did you get from the space science? What kind of things you got it from the space itself? What kind of science you derived from there?
Yeah, because heart rate variability, it helps for me to understand how like my body. Usually we have like specific parameters, but it's not necessarily like scientifically to explain. But it means even you check your pulse, for example, morning time, and stand up and check again like in 1 minute your pulse. If you different between maybe like 50 and 57, it means like your everything your body adjusted, adapted, and everything like combination, and you ready to go for daily activity, any intensity, whatever you would like for your level, fitness level. But if you for example heart rate, it will be over 12 uh, points, like from 50 to 62, it means like okay, you still not recovered yet, and be careful. And if you more extend your daily activity, it will be need more recovery. And like if you go to fitness club, for example, just like more aerobically work or recovery or massage or day off and something. If you over 20 points, it means like you over like burn out yourself, whatever you did, like high stress and everything. It means like because this is cardio, and heart rate shows where you are every day, where you are right now. But by our technology, we more deeper look inside our body, and plus we have spectral analysis, like specific hidden breathing waves analysis by frequency, and each frequency responsible for how works your brain, central nervous system, how works your hormonal system, how works your internal organs, how your humoral, how like active ingredients flow in your blood circulation. And immediately, just like in resting position in 5 minutes by AKG, we got like completely full information about your whole system, like integrity. And this is like indicator your uh, integrity, your health for today. Even health changes every day, every daily. I mean, like morning time we have one condition, afternoon different condition, and this technology helps me to manage for my first step, like for sports, to improve my results, not rush, and like exactly to do just like what kind of workouts, aerobically, anaerobically, speed, explosive, but exactly guide, like specific guide for me.
So you're talking about heart rate variability, right? That is connected with the somehow it came, that heart rate variability concept came from a concept of entropy in the physics, right? A lot of entropy is connected with the heart rate variability mathematics, right?
Yes, and some definitely entropy very accumulate in our body. For example, if like got some local entropy, we got injury. For example, accumulate your local entropy in a knee, back, or something, and you just like different. If like overtrained for sports, for example, for regular people, same thing. Like if like doing some awkward position for back problem, and we accumulate in general entropy in our body. But when we use hypoxia usually touch each cell in your body. You
Mm.
can reach any space in your body if you hold. For example, when I competed, I hold my breath over 4 minutes, like inhale, and over 2 minutes exhale. It shows for me if I'm in good shape, like 3 minutes 30 seconds, okay, I am ready for everything, even for competition. If I'm barely hold my breath like only 2 minutes, it means like I'm still under recovery. It's individual approach, but for each individual approach has specific pattern, and they will, if people starting to use random, like to use hypoxia, hold your breath in out, doesn't matter, like even use like complicated technology for specific machine. No, usually I live in Siberia. I decided like if we have huge abilities, super abilities inside us, only need to give them access to get these super abilities. Because if you check your DNA in 99%, 99.9, everybody same. Everybody
Yeah.
has same DNA. And if you check like chemical elements like carbon, oxygen, and
Nitrogen, whatever it is.
yeah, and like only three elements, and we have in our body 99% as well. Uh, and if like we can combine a combination to find combination between oxygen and hydrogen, for example, hydrogen, it will be exactly like a hypoxia. For example, CO2 and oxygen level, if like we have balance, we definitely will be like in a right stage and will be feeling very healthy. And plus, when I found if like we have same abilities, and people told me I am not able to be sprinter because my time in 18 years old been like 12 seconds, 12.2 for 100. And they told like this is genetically you have to born with your abilities to be sprinter. I told like if like we everybody say no, and in 4 years I ran 10.3 and like broken all like scientific law for about genetics approach.
Genetics, yeah. So that's a very good point you're making. I wanted to ask you about Siberian adaptation. You know, the gulags, they're very famous for Siberia. Is a Second World War. They used to send the the prisoners of war to Siberia, and most of them died because of that cold. They could not adapt. You know that hypoxia, whatever it is, I don't know, but there's a lot of that severe cold. They died. But people like you who live there, they survived. What is that difference? You think? What is it? Adoption or adaptation, or what is that makes a difference living in Siberia?
No, for example, I live right now like in Eugene, Oregon, and
Yeah.
if comparative to this here, like in California, like summer all year, and we don't have snow because we live in the valley. And but nature same like we have in my hometown in Siberia, but we have in Siberia 6 months winter, 6 months summer, and definitely when like we have like extreme cold, you have to put like 3 layers. We didn't have at the same time like because I started like end of 70s, and like no indoor facilities. You have to put lots of layers your clothes and like put even scarf or something like to protect itself like for running. And people not if you have motivation, doesn't matter where you live in, you can find way to develop your abilities. And definitely in Eugene, for example, I live for over 25 years here, and many people spoiled. Even will be trained outside. No, I'm going to fitness club. This is like, for me, just like anywhere the paradise. And I like, for example, in Eugene. And this is why like
adaptation. Yeah, you're saying the adaptation is the key for the survival of even Siberia. I live in Siberia or Eugene, Oregon. It is a big difference of the adaptation. Adaptation. We have to understand our body very well and do the adaptation step by step. I will ask you about the step by step. What are the step by step? Hypoxia, you said the ancient wisdom. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, when you just like my advice for many people, and just like starting to use hold the breath, just like random, even 5 minutes per day, like in out, like hold in. This is like natural our abilities, because if you check embryon when like zygote and starting like develop it like embryon during 9 months during pregnancy, the women like in their womb, our embryon lives in hypoxia condition. In hypoxia condition, embryon like 5 to 10,000 elevation oxygen. This is like saturation oxygen between 50 to 70. This is why like later we turn our technology for healthspan.
Let me clarify with you. Embryo lives in hypoxia conditions. That's what you're saying.
Yes, because embryon develop it in hypoxia, and they have definitely our brain developed in hypoxia 50 to 70 saturation oxygen. If like we in adult person train itself for hypoxia and to able to decrease your saturation oxygen between like embryon condition, we can rejuvenate our body and live like much longer without any problem and health problem, because all regeneration, this is like CO2 main hormone regeneration. Later when I started to do my analysis, my sport career, why I didn't have any injuries for 20 years, even I had been in a big stage, even I said like many national champion and record holder, and even rank number 3 in the world, my results, for example, 1991. But I didn't have any injuries, and still don't have any injuries in my 63 years old right now. And I'm still like active, and I enjoy my running, I enjoy my physical exercise without any push myself, because it's like normal enjoyable condition. It's for everybody.
Let me ask you a question.
Everybody able to do.
Yeah, Dr. Well, during the COVID, a lot of people died of hypoxia, right? They have because oxygen starvation, a lot of people died. If they would have trained, adopted, because the embryo is adopted to you said that 40 to 50 oxygen saturation levels, that's amazing. So we can actually train our body to survive that kind of episode. That's what you're saying. Is that right, if I understand you correctly?
Explain a little bit more detail, because understand, for example, in Harvard, many scientists who for longevity, they found like zygote, and during gastrulation first week take methylation mark like for bed marks from mother and bed mark from DNA, from methylation mark from father, which accumulation defect in it by DNA. But during gastrulation, like first week, all DNA clean, and baby born without any problem, just like a young baby. And we found as well, if like we able to sync our adult body to embryon environment, we can regenerate everything, whole body completely. And when we check biological tests by DNA, what is your biological age, and we found like if you able to sync this condition, for example, like 50 to even 80 saturation oxygen, you don't care anything what your health problem outside, infection, COVID, whatever, you'll be protected, huge protection of your body for your health.
Before I talk about expand that, let us talk about pH value. pH is the body is acidic in general, but you mentioned about pH things in your one of the talks.
Yeah.
So let us
Yes.
talk about pH value.
Usually, first maybe 25-30 years, our body protected by ontogenesis, because until like finished our brain did it completely. But after that has more energy, to almost 25% energy consume itself for itself, take from our body, and we don't have enough energy to repair for rest of body, for example. And pH as well for our body, and intercellular pH, it changed from alkaline side to more acidic side.
Yeah.
When I competed, I found like, okay, how like we able to manage our pH, because you're not able to take blood test every day, and it's so complicated, it will very expensive. But we use just like urine test. You can check, like if you urine test just like paper, like strips, you can buy like for cheaper some like analysis what your pH for urine. It's usually 6.4, 6.6 by urine pH. And when I competed, I thought like if like a more acidic, if not recover, my pH usually 5.0, 5.5, and still need under recovery. If I am going to recover it completely, my pH by urine close even 7, it means great, I can do everything what I would like. And during life as well for regular people. And if we found like we have like huge database for 45 years, health, fitness, sports, and 11 years ago we switched for healthspan, lifespan, longevity. And when we accumulate all information from our data, and we found 3 main factors affecting our aging. This is like disbalance between CO2 and oxygen. And most of all, CO2 main regeneration, usually we have between 6 to 7%. Like if you exhale, usually we have like a percent CO2. But later, like 40s, 30s, 50s, our each decade we decrease CO2 level. It means if hypertension, it means why hypertension? Because they have CO2 only 3.5%. It's not enough oxygen or CO2 develop it in our body, and this is why we have to.
But CO2 is toxic, right? We need to.
This is
we need
hypoxic.
to push our, we need to get rid of the CO2, right?
Yeah. Yes. Just like CO2. Every time. Yes. CO2. Yes. Yeah. This is very simple, and like not so many people understand how like it's simple ways. Try to use more technology to fix, for example, but we have like natural abilities, like super abilities, and at the same time, like everybody has it.
Yeah. So that's great. You know, you're saying the super abilities.
Yeah,
Let me introduce you another good friend of mine. She's joining us from the Atlanta, Georgia. She's the
yeah,
co-host right now. She teaches this kind of breathing techniques. One of the things from India, Isha Yoga, and all those things. I saw that a lot of breathing techniques are important. Even breathing can reduce the pH value. I understand it. So Ursula, you know, do you have any question for that? You know, he is talking about very interesting. Came from a Siberia. You can really adapt your body to the. You can do a lot of things. Our bodies are resilient, and you can really train your body to do a lot of things if you have a right education and understanding. So if you have a question, go ahead, please. Ursula Lentini, she's joining from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you, Dr. Val. Yeah. So have you studied the Wim Hof technology and techniques for the cold and the changing the oxygen and the ability to sustain, very difficult situations?
yes, I'm it is Wim Hof technology because he used most of all like try to eliminate CO2 from body, and like more many in breathing, like inhale, exhale, like even like 25 times, and after like exhale and starting to like hold your breath. Yeah, this is approach helps or shows like how like effective resistant to hypoxia for everybody. But when my case, we would like to develop it instead like mm, resistant to hypoxia for extreme. We have abilities to develop it endogenous oxygen inside us, and this is like right now like we working for this way because our abilities possible to even to swim our like in a, for example, in the water even more than like even maybe few hours or 5 hours or 7 hours, use endogenous oxygen. And just because this is like ancient mechanism inside us all year, but we don't have access for these abilities. I uh, explain how it works. For example, uh, I have in my social like Facebook some like video and about like how possible how change duration oxygen if you hold your breath 4 minutes 30 seconds. For example, I shows like by pictures like dynamics, and until 2 minutes and 2:15 whole world, whole like humanity entropy in a box. Because if you hold your breath until like 2 minutes and 2:15, your saturation oxygen will be same 95, 95, 98, and maybe 94 maximum. You're not able to decrease until like 93, 91, 90 if you're not train itself for hypoxia. But if you pass this like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, it means you able open door access for your abilities what embryo developed inside us during like 9 months, and whole programs for regeneration for everything. Even we have, for example, levitation. This is like people like sometimes like skeptical how like levitation it works, but by hypoxia you can develop it your vacuum inside us, and by energy you we have like positive charge head and halfway, negative charge for legs, and our ground has negative charge as well. You start and levitate. This is your hypoxia
That's
touch
amazing.
detail in your body, and
Yeah.
you're able to do that. Everybody can do that.
So the yogis, Ramana, the yogis have done that as early as the 60s, and there's photos of it I've seen, and I know breath work and meditation. I do practice our Hadic practice, and we do a lot of breath work. In survival, they say you have 3 minutes for breathing. No more breathing. 3 minutes, you're out. 3 hours hypothermia. There's always these three. So now you're going to break the code for 333 if everybody can hold for 4. How did you come upon the
No,
discovery of? Go ahead.
by heart rate variability, because I had I was pioneering heart rate variability in North America. Like I brought this technology in 1998, and nobody knows like what means heart rate variability.
Yes.
And me and my company, we developed it. We just like was and brought this technology right now. Like everybody told, like, oh, this is like heart ring, orange ring, something. They have like use heart rate variability, but they still not so many people understand heart rate variability in the world. I know maybe 3-5 people in the world who understand exactly what means heart rate variability and how like deep you can see inside us what's going on. For example, usually our brain it helps cardio work autonomically. If you need help, so you got help from central nervous system. But we found by heart rate variability different approach. Our brain has autonomic regeneration, self-regeneration itself. Even they have own insulin and everything, but only hypoxia helps to turn separately works brain to regenerate itself, and our body regenerate itself as well, because we brain stop to use energy from body in 25%, and just like leave 25% for our body for regenerate, and our brain has own energy. And how like to activate this brain?
How could we put that into the medical world? So if people have brain injury, right? Children or people sports, they have brain injury. There must be a way to rearrange and manipulate the system so what you're saying, we can be released and then regenerate the brain on purpose, even if the person is in coma state. And then there's got to be a way to activate that without training. Is there?
Yes, possible to activate them. It helps for many people who got insult, for example, and all brain, even some brain diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson, dementia, and we can reactivate ancient mechanism which we have already in our body. For example, we found, do you know what means parabiosis? When like young, no, because like young mice combination with blood circulation with old mice and put together, and young factors treat for old mice, for example. But we try like, okay, same approach we use for our body. We found like our brain has young organ, cerebellum. If cerebellum, this is like one neuron, like 70 billion neurons contain cerebellum, and nothing changed in like millions years ago from now, it means like they have already ancient all mechanism what we have right now. But if like we think our body through activate cerebellum ancient mechanism and give cerebellum condition 50 to 70 saturation oxygen, we activate ancient mechanism and to repair itself.
Great point, Dr. Val. I want to ask you that cerebellum. You're saying that it doesn't get old. It doesn't decrease its functionality or anything. So we can use re-invoke the cerebellum functionality. That's what you're saying, if I understand you correct?
Yes, for everybody has cerebellum, and it's because this is like cerebellum contain like three, just like ancient some like part, old part and new part, same like neocortex you have as well, and
Really?
this is like all without brain possible to live, but without cerebellum not possible. Only 9 cases in a world born without cerebellum.
Yeah.
Only one lady survived, like in China, and but without brain, we can see like many injuries without brain, and like impossible live normal life, and they have family. It means you activate through cerebellum answer mechanism. Main trigger will be hypoxia. If you're able to decrease it to 70, and you can rejuvenate itself and keep going, and you will be younger and younger, and like for biological age, even checked by DNA, and possible, theoretically possible to live not like barely 120. No, this like you can live like 12 times more, like even 1200 or so, like right now, like many people. But right now, like I have group 50 to 60 is old people, and they already level human body, like superhuman, usually call it group, and they already like hold the breath over 4 minutes, and this is like same like in environment for embryo, and we will probably, our group will be shown those group who pass like 120 easily, and plus biological age will be between 30 to 60. It doesn't matter, it will be like your 120, 150 or 200, because we have natural regeneration inside us.
Ursula, can you put together, summarize that process?
One more.
Yeah. Ursula, if you don't mind.
One more point.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
And because generation right now, like young generation right now, like 25, 30 years old, they struggle with fertility, and some like the families came to us, like couples, and like they didn't have baby during 3, 4, 5 years, and we just like gave them our program. In 3 months they immediately got like baby, and plus if they continue our approach like new level, like superhuman, it means like it will be like new super baby and born with already include mechanism turn on, same like a Greenland shark, and already this is baby we have already. We'll explore and learn how like super abilities, and we expected like this is new population, it will be more like just like homeostasis, it will be between, usually we have homeostasis 25 to 30, but it will be extend maybe 90 years old, homeostasis.
Wow.
And just like but for us just like need to wait, but yeah, this is our future project, not future project,
Okay,
real project right now.
You're doing it now. Yeah.
Let me summarize that. Let Ursula summarize that more than me, because she understands it. You think that our inside mechanisms, Ursula, is our abilities to bring that up without outside medicines or anything like that. So he's saying that our body is actually born with that kind of a super abilities.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit what he said. Can you rephrase that?
Point of view? Yeah, right. Because in metaphysics, so I got my doctorate in consciousness studies. So it's metaphysics, quantum physics, spirituality. So the work that you're doing is forgotten technology, because we understand that there have been highly intelligent cultures beyond our ability to understand how they've done the thing. How did they build the pyramid, so on and so forth. So there's been inhabitants on this planet that have access to higher intelligence, and you've tapped into a piece of that. So when you're saying in our physical bodies, we have the ability through physical technology, nothing spiritual. You don't have to go to the Himalayas or Siberia. You can just actually do this in your home by yourself and tap into the technology that is in our physical body. In my languaging, I would say that we are higher dimensional beings than just our physical. Physical is the effect. But where do we get consciousness? How come our body stays regulated? How can we heal from diseases and programs, injuries? It's because there's a higher consciousness back of everything. So you're tapping through the breath into the higher consciousness and creating the superhuman ability. And I can see that in that kind of body, like you said, you're in your 60s and you have never been sick, you're no injuries. And if you did get an injury, you'd probably heal very, very quickly. So I think you're tapping onto something extremely important.
Yeah. So what that
Yeah, because
you know,
one
go ahead.
one more, and plus, yeah, definitely, if you move like in a superhuman, usually call like level 4, because level 1, level 2, level 3, this is like 60, 90, 120 is all possible maximum we live in right now. But if you move level 4, like superhuman, like saturation oxygen between like 50 to 80 at least, and you open access for quantum medicine, it means like quantum medicine, our DNA contained from this is like atoms or like corpuscular specific elements, quarks, for example. In quark, not possible to rebuild. This is like strange up and down. This is like one part of. And plus, if like somebody made us anyway, because we clones like same DNA is same, and we have, if we have like quantum medicine, it means like we have one medicine, one copy in our body in library who made us, second in a just like ether, and we can activate through hypoxia healthy DNA and like to rejuvenate
Really?
itself what we have like from extreme influence from us. And plus 2008 Japan scientists got prize for trinity and complementary. It means like whatever we change like for corpuscular elements, it's still like three copies they have. It means like same like we have DNA three copies.
You know,
And
if
we
I
each
understand you,
body able itself to live like without any
Ursula,
limits,
what
without
he's saying,
any.
he's the best example of really what he is preaching. He's saying that he is a sportsman, he is a world champion, and then came from Siberia, the most hardest conditions you can imagine on the planet Earth. And then he's saying that you can, by hypoxia training, you can invoke the DNA from the past. It's a very interesting concept, and I never heard that. But it's a very. He said that he can prove it, through his methods and all that. I'm very fascinated by that kind of things, that how the brain abilities. So expand on that one, Ursula, if you can, couple of minutes you can do on that one.
Yeah, because
No,
this, we have evolved so many different ways and times, and we've forgotten the intelligence that we've had. We've forgotten the resources of the land. We don't have to have we don't have to eat a certain diet. We don't have to drink so much water. If we kind of breathe, the monks, because the monks can have almost no food, very still life, very quiet, and they can achieve great consciousness, and they can bring in things like that and have good health. They have a monk. They said, oh, look, here's a statue of a monk. Let's move him. And then they started testing, and they said, wait a minute, he's still alive. And they calculated he probably was like a 200-year-old body, but there was still he was not decaying. So something inside of him understood the technology that you're talking about. We are, they say, how much in our brain are we actually using in our brain? Because we don't know what else is available to us. We have forgotten or have been told to forget. I think as we evolve as human beings and we understand technology, we're going to understand quantum physics much more and be able to cross the barrier between physical, non-physical, and then beyond time and space and bring things like this in. Because when people are in a state that you're talking about, they probably have access and downloads and great ideas. Because if they can levitate their
I want to tell you a small, quick story. When I was growing up in India, I used to live in a small village. In the village, right across the canal, there is a big, small river floating right across the canal. There was a rotunda, in a remote place, very remote. Our village itself is remote. That is a more remote. In that village, one yogi used to live. It doesn't have there is no doors, there's no food coming in, going out. There's no water almost. There is no running water there. We don't have electricity. The entire village doesn't have electricity. So this guy stays. You stays there inside 364 days a year. And one day on an auspicious Lord Shiva's day, which Lord Shiva used to live on mountains on the Himalayan mountains. So he comes out and looks at it, and then he goes into the meditation, goes back. He recently died, but he was doing that last 40, 50 years. He was surprised to me. We thought that he's going to get medicine. He's getting some kind of food from outside, water from outside. We talked on that guy, nothing. It was a very puzzling to me as a science student. So what I found out, as you said, Dr. Val, is a heart rate variability. That's where that is where the autonomic function, they hibernate the process that he did. A lot of yogis did in India this practice, what you're saying, you're trying to do westernized, you're bringing space science, and then you're bringing the cerebellum effect, and it's a very interesting. So go ahead, Doctor. What kind of technologies you're doing, combining these, your new ideas with the technology? What kind of technology you're bringing?
No, because I wrote a book and I published a book for free, and everybody can read my book. But this is unfortunately by Russian. But right now by AI, about everybody to translate without any problem. If it's some needed in chapters, whatever, you can check my Facebook or LinkedIn. This is like free book. This is like nothing pay and everything. Just like to use my book. Usually call like. H. Methuselah, Me for Reality, and this is like guide, like from a little bit about my life, how like I by step developed this program. Because when I've been in training camp in 1988, for example, I've been in China. I visited over 60 countries, and for everybody, for me, interested in how culture, how like everything. I've been in China, Tibet. And I found like in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, one guru from India, by the way, and he told me, why you modern society looking for some like modern approaches from monk, for example, and they have specific, very good direction to how to be healthy, but you live in a condition and you have to develop your own style, adjust it for you're not going to meditate in the caves and 5,000 meters or 10,000 meters, because you live in real life. You have to develop a different approach and to resistant for any stress situation what we have right now around us, and to be strong. And for example, this is same like entropy. And if you're right, like COVID, and like if like people got like 93 saturation oxygen and below and 64 or 70, they died. But if you develop it for your saturation oxygen, you don't care any condition what happened. because any infection will be killed. And our company work with cancer, international alliance cancer patients. And with cancer, this is like we have immortality inside us, cancer cells, because they have huge telomerase. If price for telomerase will be in like a price like will granted for researchers for this area. But problem for researchers, they found like it's in vitro possible without any problem to rejuvenate any cells, adult soma cells and everything. But in vivo, we got problem regeneration because we got cancer. But if your environment, like embryon, has condition, and cancer cells, it will be our friends. This is like our immortality cells, each inside us, and we can regenerate.
How can they reach you, Dr.
Without developing cancer? Because cancer same environment like 50 to 70, but anaerobic ability. But we develop it 50 to 70 aerobic ability. It means like regular environment, like embryon has it, and we have adult. We just like lost ancient mechanism because changed atmosphere right now like different. We live in probably worse. Our DNA live in a worse condition ever what we have right now.
Okay, Dr. Val, while we're getting the last minutes, I'm going to put your information, your contact information in my video on the comments so people can access that Russian book that you are talking about. We can translate into AI, in English, or whatever the language they want it. So, it is amazing, what you're saying, that some of the things that Ursula can relate to, and I'm outsider as understanding space science and then EKG, heart rate variability. These are all new fields coming in, merging it together. It's a fascinating idea. So, Ursula, I give you the last words. Say something about it, So, what do you think of that our body's inherent strengths?
It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. I'm so glad you're living proof of an idea that spiritual people have, that people who are sick and they're wondering, there's got to be an answer, there's got to be a way. And you're the way, you're the answer to many people's problems. So please keep expressing this. Please put this information out. Make a video training, so people can learn how to do this for themselves.
Yeah.
I think you will have a great following and do wonderful work in the world. So thank you for living your life in the way that is here to serve humanity and to prove that there is much value beyond what we're been taught.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Val. Really, it's a very, very informative. You are saying something very extraordinary things, and you are doing with the technology, combining space science and technology and heart rate variability. You're living proof, as she said, that Ursula. Thank you all. Good night. And
thank you.
Thank you for joining with us. I'm truly honored to have you. Siberia, particularly doctor from Siberia, is the epitome of my podcasting. Thank you so much for joining with us, Dr. Val.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.